What's going on, world of YouTube? Just getting on here actually to relay a message, or not even a message, just to give a thought. The thought is how beautifully nature imitates life. And life is part of nature. Going out and watching it snow was beautiful. But understanding that no two snowflakes are identical, and no matter how many millions and billions fall from the clouds to the earth, they all are very separate. They all are very unique, just as we are. We should not strive to be the same as the next, but ultimately be different and be perfect in our imperfections, not constantly wondering if we are the same or different, because ultimately we are ever changing. Now you will go through different variations in your life of who you are. Now, understanding that the snowflake starts at the exact same place. They all have the same beginning. They all end up in having the same destination. Sometimes wind can blow them off course, but ultimately the reason why no two are the exact same is because if you look at them and you see what they go through, they come through different parts of the clouds, which allow them to freeze at different points, which is just like our lives. The clouds have neutral, negative, and positive energy, ultimately impacting the way that the ice crystal or the snowflake looks. It's amazing how that can actually show how it's reflected in our lives. I can't tell anybody what they have to do. But my belief is that strive for greatness is what we're always told. But what exactly is greatness? Is it financial? Is it mental? Is it physical, emotional, spiritual? What is the greatness that we seek? Because our greatness is also individualized. This is something to think about. Because we are vessels, we are supposed to do something in our life. But remember, when you're at the beginning and going to your destination, don't focus completely on your destination. You will make the trip a blur. And the trip sometimes is what makes you who you are. Being able to overcome obstacles instead of just going around them or underneath them, being able to maneuver around them. These things create and turn you into the person that you are. Ultimately, sometimes the good and the bad times. We have to understand and be able to help one another. Even though we may not think we're all going to the same destination, the terrifying reality is we are. So I want people to think about one another and don't focus on their imperfections, because it seems that in today's society, everyone is a professional on everyone else except for themselves, which once again, that has become the norm in our society. Looking at the external situations and looking at external people and reflecting some of our negative energy and our own self-anger onto them ultimately helps us to cover up or show who we are inside, when most of the time we don't know. The problem is knowing yourself and knowing who you are is ultimately ever changing. Because if I was to ask you at this moment, are you the same or different from yesterday? And let's take time out of the equation. Have you learned something new which ultimately changed you? Or do you feel like you were the same or different? It's been said and spoken, there is no same and there is no different. There is no beginning, there is no end, there is no life, there is no death. Ultimately, these are perceptions. Now that was a thought that really spun me around. And I sat there and I focused on it until eventually it began to consume me. But while it consumed me, I had to sit back and realize that I need to go ahead and let that go. Because ultimately, the moments that I am in, I have to learn. And if I'm constantly looking at something else, I can't really learn exactly what I'm supposed to at the time because I'm focused on something completely different. I'll worry about the destination when I get there. But for right now, I'm going to enjoy the breeze. I'm going to smile. I'm going to laugh. We have to understand that even the rainy days are made to help sustain the plants and bring water back to the earth. And without water, nothing survives. Just like fertilizer. if you look at what gets put into the garden to make plants properly flourish, you take some BS, and you know what I mean, and you put it on plants. If the plant survives and doesn't get burned, ultimately it survives and becomes stronger. Just the same thing as rain. We need cloudy days and dark nights to make us appreciate the sun, and ultimately understand that the dry days are wonderful. So these are things I just want people to think about. I bring this to you just as an overall thought, because we are individuals, and our individuality is what makes us special. Even though you can find those who are twins, triplets, quadruplets, octuplets, each of them has an individual experience that makes them separate from the next. Externally, they may look close to identical, but yet internally, they are all separate, just as we are all. Now, we can come together as a community, and then again, you have to look at, just as the snow falls and hits the ground, it can be formed into something strong. It can be formed into a snowball. It can make something beautiful in the hands of the right ones, of the hands of a sculptor. Now, with that thought, that introduces another thought as far as community. Your individuality is what makes you part of a powerful community. The special things you can do, your gifts, your traits. So don't necessarily try to blend in with the crowd. I will speak on the gray man, that's completely different. But as far as your individuality and who you are special. Just being able to understand, to focus on the positive, and like the butterfly effect, spread positivity, because one drop of water in the ocean can make a ripple, and it can cause a wave. So make sure it's positive, and that wave is positivity that overcomes you and those who you touch, even as much as a friendly smile or a compliment. Take the time to understand that you never know who you could help. Just by giving a good message to someone or telling someone to have a wonderful day, you can ultimately change the course of that person's day. You could be that gust of wind that blows them back on track, not the thing that just slams them to the ground. So I want everyone to think about it for a second and just enjoy the day, enjoy peace, and be blessed. Because ultimately, we do not know what tomorrow brings. So the destination I look forward to in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I may not even make it there. Most high willing I do. But ultimately, I'm going to enjoy the ride. And I'm going to look at everything and every beautiful sight. And even if I do get a flat tire on that drive, I'll be sure that ultimately I can overcome that obstacle. And I want you to do the same. So I thank you for listening. And really, that was just a thought. I'm sorry for rambling, but I do want each and every person who hears this video to understand you are perfect in your imperfection, and don't let anyone tell you different. You can change and become what you want to be. But again, those are your choices. So with that, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut this one a little short so I don't over ramble you. But there is no same and there is no different. You're always changing, and you can change into what you want to be. Because the caterpillar, it has to go in a cocoon, then it can become a beautiful butterfly. And this is something we also have to realize. So through life, just figure out what point you're at. And if you can't, you never know. You could possibly already be that butterfly. Just continue to enjoy your life. Continue to make others smile and continue to spread positivity, because only by leading by example in a positive manner can we change the world in a positive way. Because there's a lot of negativity going on and worry, and I refuse to be one who lets that beat me. So I just want to thank everybody for watching the video. I wish you the best. And as always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the message, and I'll definitely be dropping more. Later.